Welcome to the Red Shoe Realty podcast. And as you know, from time to time, I take a moment to just share some thoughts. And I want to do that now and share some thoughts about the 2023 housing market. So many questions, right? Well, I want to start with why are rates up? Because that's the biggest thing that we're feeling right now is rates have gone up. And so let's talk about why that happened. Well, inflation went up and mortgage rates follow inflation. And so therefore, mortgage rates have gone up. The good news is that inflation has already started to come down. And so mortgage rates will not continue to go up forever. We're hoping to see them go down by the summer. But what you need to understand is that inflation is what is driving this. The second point that I want to make, and I want to kind of weave it in together, is be careful of what you're seeing in the headlines. There are some national headlines that are really leading you to believe one thing, and it's just not the truth. I'll give you an example. So a recent headline said that foreclosures were up by some crazy amount, like 150%. Well, just so you know, foreclosures were dang near zero during COVID because banks were not allowed to foreclose. So now that they're cleaning up that mess, we are starting to see some foreclosures, but trust me, when you compare them to where foreclosures were, they're hardly anything. So again, you look at the headline, but the truth is just, it really was twisted. Here's another one. They're talking about a housing bubble. This is not a result of the housing bubble. And a lot of people want to compare it to 2008. 2008 was nuts. Banks were doing some crazy things. In fact, I'm a casualty because I worked at Wachovia Bank during that time, and we had some crazy programs. And sure enough, we dang near failed, and Wells Fargo bought Wachovia. That's how I got into real estate, because I got laid off because of what was happening in 2008. This is nothing like 2008. This is because of inflation. And there are a ton of reasons why that's happening. I'm not going to go into all that. But it's inflation. And once that recovers, which it will, the mortgage rates being increased are going to actually help us recover from that. And then mortgage rates will follow inflation and go down as well. The third and the last thing that I want to talk about is a recession. This is another thing that you're probably seeing in the headlines. And the thing is you just cannot look at the entire country as a whole and say, yes, we are headed to a recession, because things are different in different parts of the country. And here in Houston, it's a beautiful thing. It is such a beautiful thing. Our cost of living, even with the increase in values that we have seen, our cost of living is still wonderful. We've got jobs. We've got a lot of jobs. In fact, guys, we have more jobs than we did before COVID. And that's when we lost a lot of jobs. We're back up over that. So we've got a ton of jobs in Houston. The culture is amazing. The diversity is amazing. And so, yes, everybody and their mama wants to move to Texas. And so again, supply and demand, you have all these people pouring in, and unexpectedly too, because COVID happened like that. And literally overnight, everyone was virtual. In fact, companies in Cali said, we're never going back to the office ever. And so, yes, tons of people are pouring into Texas to get all those benefits. Oh yeah, no state income tax. So the benefits just keep stacking up and people keep moving in. And so when we talk about recession, let's talk about Houston, because the supply and demand situation says that values are going to continue to go up, because we still don't have the supply that we need. So if you're thinking about selling, it's definitely a great time because inventory is still very low. And so, when we look at Houston as a whole, one of my dear friends and economist, he said the word insulated. We're a bit insulated. We're quite insulated in Houston. And so that's a wonderful thing. There are so many things that are just out of our control that we don't know how they'll go. There's a lot going on in the world. And so we can't say, no, there's not a recession coming. But for Houston, I don't see it. I just can't see it. So I think by the summer, we'll see some lower rates. If you are thinking about buying and you're going to wait for these lower rates, remember that a lot of other people are waiting also. And so when those rates go down and supply goes up, because it will a bit in spring and in the summer, then we're not going to see what we saw before, the frenzy with the 3%. There was a lot of frenzy surrounding that market. But we will see buyers that are going to come out of hiding, and they've been saving for a while, almost a year. They've been saving more money, working on their credit. And so just know that you will have more competition come spring and summer versus now. So those are my thoughts. And as always, I'm here for you if you have any questions, whether you're a buyer, seller, an agent. It doesn't matter to me. I'm here for you. I would love to be a resource for you, and I wish you well. I'll see you soon.